I would like to be able to tell you, right, that, oh, we've got this about all cleaned up and, we're
Right.
about to bring the perpetrators at the top of the military and drag them in front of a court martial for their part in perpetrating this great evil against the service members and therefore by extension the nation. Unfortunately, we're just not at that point yet. But that is ideally what we would achieve. And why do we want to see that? Why do we want those who perpetrated these crimes against the military, want them to have to answer for what they've done? Because the mandate, we all know by now, if you don't have your head in the sand, you know that it was harmful. But beyond that, it was also clearly unlawful, and it was predicated upon the existence of a fully FDA approved product when there was none at the time that the mandate went into effect. And we don't have to get into all the technical aspects of exactly why that is, but the point remains: the mandate was clearly unlawful.
Yes.
If people didn't believe that 2.5 years ago when the mandate first went into effect, there have been so many red flags, there have been so many question marks that have arisen in the last 2.5 years that any person who is reasonable and any person who truly seeks truth
Yes.
would have done their due diligence by now and realize that all was not as it seemed with that mandate when it went into effect in August of 2021. And people who are listening might say, well, I'm not in the military. What did that mandate do to me? But we got to understand that what happens in the military a lot of times is a waypoint along the trajectory of what happens with the rest of the nation.
Sure.
So, there may be families out there that say, well, I don't necessarily, have a child or a spouse that's in the military. Sure, but national security affects all of us. And the mandate in the military kind of opened the way for other mandates that happened around the country. So
Yes.
there were plenty of people, plenty of families that were affected by this mandate in the military, even if they were affected indirectly.
Absolutely. And I feel like, just to piggyback off of what you said, I mean, I know people like you and I, Brad, as this was going on, we are just from the beginning, we're like, this is so unlawful. This is so unethical. Like, we knew as it was taking place, but, and we know more people have woken up to what was going on. But I'll be honest, everything that has come out already,
Mm-hmm.
just proving our case of everything that was just mind-boggling that happened during the pandemic, and that we conspiracy theorists were in fact correct. I mean, it's already been brought to light. And again, unless you're an ostrich with their head hiding in the sand, you have to see that. I mean, people should be furious at what has taken place. And with that, Brad, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but every single thing that's happening in our country, in the world, is nothing is by accident. This is 100% intentional by design. And the faster people realize this, they're going to see who the real enemies are. And it's the people that are supposed to be protecting us and defending us and having our best interests at heart are also some of our own enemies.
Sure. Yeah. So it's a great point.